I get the most out of people from a leadership standpoint when I try to be myself.
I love it.
If I'm myself out here, these kids understand who I am. They understand my philosophy, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna work hard. We're gonna grind. We're gonna work harder than anybody else. But we also go about it a little bit differently.
Nestled right outside the big city of Atlanta, Georgia, is the small community of Lawrenceville, where one of the upper echelon NAIA baseball programs calls home. A program still inside of its first decade of existence, but one that is heading in the right direction behind head coach and ABCA member Brad Stromdahl and his staff. Let's land this thing and go check up on the Grizzlies. This episode is presented by Baseball Coaches Insider, the exclusive provider of the ABCA Barnstormer Clinic video series. We can't thank them enough for their efforts in bringing this project to life, working the cameras to help us take a deeper dive into these programs and these coaches, and we hope that you go check out more of their exceptional resources at coachesinsider.com.
We've been fortunate enough to have the right people here. When you look back at your 7 years, you've built a field out of nothing. We're continuing to change lives within, the kids that we have today, our assistant coaches, our friends, the people that we're associated with within this community. It's just something that we've been very fortunate and blessed to be a part of. And it's so unique when it comes to opportunities that you have to be in college athletics nowadays.
So that first year, there was a great group of guys. Just characters on that team, really loved baseball, really loved each other. They set a standard, a really high standard for the rest of the people to go live up to. So, and we built upon that foundation, and our just being new to the area, learning as we went, really. So I think we've become better coaches and learned from each other, learned from the players, and it's been this cyclical way of going about learning from players learning from us. How do we get better every year?
I'll never forget the first time we came out here and practiced. We were already 19 games in, traveling on the road every single game. We were just pumped to be here at this field. Building a program from the ground up was an experience of a lifetime, really. I had the opportunity to do it at East Georgia too, and to do 2 first-year programs was something else.
So take me back, because I'm always intrigued about when guys first get into coaching. I think there's some crucial years for guys, in terms of lessons learned, and when you look back. Take us back into who you were at 22, 23 years old.
Oh my goodness. So I had just gotten done playing Division II baseball in Southwest Minnesota for some unbelievably great guys.
Yep.
And I had an opportunity to go try out for some independent teams and, kind of running the route when you get done playing and you're not quite good enough to do anything in baseball anymore. I had enough intuition to realize that I wasn't very good. And so what I did was I went back and I said, hey, coach, can I help coach? First year, man, I was so nervous in the conference tournament. I went down to the bullpen. I'm scared to death, because you're still a player.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I wanted to do this my whole life. I didn't. I wasn't there yet. I knew that I didn't want to get a real job, and a real job meant anything outside of baseball.
Right.
It didn't matter what it was. It was anything outside of baseball. And so I stayed on for another year at Southwest State. And then I was fortunate enough to catch on with the Alexandria Beatles as an assistant coach. I ended up being the pitching coach. Never pitched a day in my life. Never, didn't know anything about pitching. Sure. Man, that was fun. We just went out of the bullpen. We started some fires when it got cold. Minnesota nights.
Love it.
Had a blast. And out of that, I thought to myself, well, I could maybe do this for a living. So my first head coaching job was at 23 for the Wilson Hobbs, and it was the most humbling experience I've ever had in my entire life. I didn't. How
fast was the game moving for you?
Oh, the whole thing was. It just said me. I wasn't ready in any aspect, but I wasn't ready for some things that happened off the field, not with players, but just community, politics.
Who you were then as a coach, and then who you were then as a leader. That's 2 different distinctions. So at 22, absolutely. 23, who are you as a coach? Who are you as a leader compared to standing here now?
Sure, no, absolutely. I mean, who I was then, as I was a punk, snot-nosed kid that thought I knew everything, and I didn't know anything.
But how'd that come across as coaching players and also leading players?
I don't know, because I was more involved in myself and trying to get to the next level.
That's
good. From a primal from a place of honesty. I mean, the reality is that was a stepping stone for me. I wasn't invested in the kids. The kids weren't really invested in. They wanted to have some fun during the summer and play, and so there wasn't a whole lot of investment, reciprocally back and forth.
Sure.
So I probably wasn't a very good leader at all. This now is we've had a transformation here from me being the head coach over the last 7 years. I've taken all my experiences and I've been able to say, what's the best part of coaching is I get the most out of people from a leadership standpoint when I try to be myself.
I love it.
If I'm myself out here, these kids understand who I am. They understand my philosophy, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna work hard. We're gonna grind. We're gonna work harder than anybody else. But we also go about it a little bit differently. It's a relatively non-traditional, not by the book. It's much more of a pro ball atmosphere where I just let them go and we fail. They understand the structure. They understand where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do. But man, a lot of the things that transfer kids come in, junior college kids come in, is they say, you've made baseball fun again. And to me, if we're making baseball fun again, laughing and chopping it up and having fun, we're on the right path. And then, you get some leadership in there from a standpoint of, it's not necessarily what you do on the field, it's what you do off the field. And that's how you conduct your business within interpersonal communications, getting to know the guy on a level that's just so deep that, you're friends forever. Like, you're involved in that guy's life from the day he steps on campus. And the funny thing is about stepping on campus is that you make a decision for the rest of your life based on a 1, 2, 3 hour
It is a unique dynamic for sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And so, it's something that's it's very special. So
we talked earlier about 2015 and how that was a true aha moment for you. And I think that's the distinction as we talk with coaches about that moment where things start to really become a fountain of perspective on them, that this is much bigger than just wins and losses. It's much bigger than double plays and doubles in the gap. It's about really changing lives. And you had that moment. Go to that place where Lindsey Wilson's dogpiling in front of you, and how much did that really change you from that moment?
We were up. And so I think we strike the first guy out. Next guy gets a base hit. No. First guy, lead off the game, lead off the bottom of the ninth, little flare to right field.
Of course. That's how it always starts.
Directly in between the right fielder. It hits off of the right fielder who doesn't know, and we have a little bit of miscommunication. It hits off him. It hits off the second baseman who's sliding. Wow. And it goes all the way to the wall. Guy goes over there, base hit. Anyways, ends in a strikeout, pass the ball, walk off to go to the World Series. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, I looked at the field, and those guys, our second baseman had been here since the beginning. His name was Jared Woods. And I remember watching him in slow motion. You know how everything kind of slows down? I remember him dropping to his knees and then basically falling on his chest.
Crushed.
Just sobbing. The catcher comes running past me. And about 10 minutes later, I can't find the catcher. I'm trying to, everybody hugs. You kind of, feel the moment, and then you live the moment, and you move on. Well, he's still hugging the toilet in the bathroom.
Wow.
You know what I mean? There's this absolutely destroyed. And so in that moment, and in those moments of reflection, which was, the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next 2 weeks, the interpersonal turmoil that you have and what you have to do, it all became relatively clear. Not in the one aha moment, although it was the loss. It was, we have to change who we are as coaches so that we coach the person, and we love the person, and we love the kid, and we just let the game be the game.
Right.
It's almost like you take the opposite approach that you just had, which was only about the game, trying to win the game.
Sure.
And then you just reel it back in and say, you know what, if we lose, it's okay. We're going to put our best foot forward. We know we're good coaches. We know we have good facilities. We know we have. But what we didn't have was that, whatever that is, that uncalculable desire and that heart and that win for, like, humanity almost, if that makes sense. Like, it's something that's very, very deep and special.
It's very deep.
And I think that we've all been on teams that don't have it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we've all been on that weird team that freaking sings on the bus on the way home right away.
It's that
And they
true
have that
brotherhood,
connection.
family feel.
And so
for
how do
sure.
you make that? And last year's team, you know, we go to
Had
the World
that.
Series again. They had it. You know, these freshmen had redshirted. They were mad at the world because they redshirted. They thought they were better than everybody else on our team, and they had this thing to prove. They're going to prove that they were better, and they did.
Wow.
And so I think that if you look internally into what it is and who you are as a person, you have to be more true to that than anything else. And you can take some risk on kids. You just can't take too many risky kids.
There you go.
If that
There you
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So, and that's where we're at right now. We're going to make sure they understand who I am. They understand what the mission is in terms of class, in terms of school, in terms of, you know, the community outreach, in terms of just all of the things that we do off the field. And when we go on the field, we're going to sweat and we're going to work hard. You know what? We're going to make it fun. We're going to have fun and we're going to enjoy it. And we're going to laugh. We're going to play whatever.
How much more rewarding has it been
Oh
for
my
you?
gosh, it's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
sleep better at night. I mean, everything.
All the above.
Yeah, everything. You know, from my relationships with the administrators to the relationships that we have across campus to the relationship just because they're good kids.
That's right.
They're great kids, and you're helping them become great. And I think ultimately that is our goal in life, is to guide them in a direction where they can kind of emulate what it is that you've had here, what they've learned here, if you will, and basically take that into society and make it their own. Because hopefully they embody something and they find their true self. Because I think finding your true self is very rare in today's 9-to-5 world. But if they can be themselves and their true selves all the way through and through in everything they do, I think that's the part about leadership for me that I think is the true defining word and result.
When I was growing up as a kid, everybody did some kind of kneeling glove work.
Sure.
Right? And you had two schools of thought in infield. You had the school of thought that you were going to press through as many things as you could,